What is going on, everybody? Today, from the title of the video, you can tell it's probably going to be a bit of an interesting one. What is this thing that he's talking about? Hair greed. I encourage you to stick around and find out. First, this video is sponsored by LaVivid Hair. They make a great product. I'm wearing a LaVivid system right now. This one right here is about 90% density and I actually love it. Use my code Jake15 for 15% off any order, and let's just jump back into the video, should we? All right, guys, so let's talk a second about this thing called hair greed. Now, the first time I heard about this concept, hair greed, was from my friend DJ over at Keratin Brotherhood when he was talking about it in this video. Let's take a look, shall we?
One of the most common questions that I get on my channel, guys, is why don't I get another hair transplant? The reason why is because I actively avoid something called hair greed. You become greedy for more hair. And this is a very slippery slope for guys who are losing their hair, particularly guys who are losing their hair very quickly. If you're trying to use like minoxidil and finasteride, even derma rolling, essential oils, whatever your pathway is to try to regrow your hair, guys, you gotta be realistic with what is possible.
All right, so as you can see, DJ is talking about his experience using finasteride, using derma rollers, using Rogaine, all of this kind of stuff to regrow his hair. And he, DJ has had a full-on hair transplant. He actually had a transplant where they cut a strip out and then they take the hair follicles and they place it wherever you need it to go. So he's been on this journey for quite a while, and he is a great guy. If you like my content, you'll probably love his content because he's just down to earth. He is all about mindset and actually getting real results. Just talks a little bit more about finasteride, derma rolling, all that kind of stuff, hair transplants. But what he talks about inside of hair greed in this subject, right, is that you feel like you never have enough, right? Like even if you do something to improve yourself, it's still not quite good enough. I didn't know it at the time, but I actually think that I've been suffering a little bit from this myself inside of my own journey. And what do I mean? Well, over this past year, a lot has changed in the way that I look, the way that I feel about myself. Now, in that process, over these past couple months, part of it was due to the stock that was available, but I really got used to me looking the way that I did with having those thicker density units. I've been wearing 130% density units because they've been what's in stock, but I got so comfortable and, to be honest, loved having that much hair. It was really nice because, one, it's so incredibly easy to style. Like you can basically do anything with your hair when you have that much hair. And on top of that, it was almost like a security blanket. Not just the fact that I was wearing it down in front of my face. Like I still love that look and I still like that look. I even wear my hair right now sometimes down in front of my face. But just having that much hair, I don't know, it actually felt like a security blanket. And I started to actually really like having that much hair, even though I knew that it didn't really match up to my proper density, that it didn't really work for me. I knew these problems were there, and there's only so much I could do about it for the time being. But I think it's interesting, like looking back, I was driving in my car today and thinking about how greedy I started getting. It wasn't enough for me to look natural. It was like this. I wanted to be supercharged, or I wanted to be augmented to be like the best version that I could possibly be. Like if I was gonna have hair again, why don't I have all the hair in the world and like look the craziest, have the best hair, look like a supermodel and stuff like that. And it's super easy to get carried away with that. Like, I don't want to say the hair got to my head, didn't, but like the hair started getting to my head. And, I had a reaction when I went down to this lower density unit. I'll play it right now. My first thought when I put on this unit was like, ooh, I do not like how that looks. This is like way too thin and I'm going to feel just a teensy bit insecure with how little hair I have. As you can see, I wasn't really sure if I liked it. It really was bothering me because there was so much less hair than I was used to. And I've gotten used to it now. I actually like it. I think it's a lot more natural, right? Like undisputedly. This is probably a lot closer to what my density should naturally be. I never really did have super duper thick hair growing up. It was always like on the finer side, meaning like it wasn't coarse, but it was also relatively thin. And I think I got obsessed with having more hair than I ever had before in my life, and all the different options and hairstyles and things that I could do with it. So, you know, this video, I wanted to take my own experience, my own story, and the things that, you know, I'm going through on this journey and relay it to you. You know, if you can only get a certain type of unit because of the stock, that's great. And I will never, ever insult you. I will never, ever even critique you for that, because I understand, like, you got to do what you got to do, right? If you're wearing a hair system and you can only get what you can only get. But that being said, if you're feeling like you're getting comfortable with a unit that's higher density than you really think that you probably should have, or like if there's that kernel of doubt, like maybe this is a little bit too heavy, or this doesn't really seem to match the density of what I have going on, don't be afraid to take that plunge. Don't be afraid to go with a lighter density unit and try to be more of yourself. I think that, you know, with hair systems, it's a pretty touchy thing. You know, we want to look our best. We might even want to look better than we've ever looked before, but we still want to look somewhat natural. You know, to relay it to a different experience, right? Like a woman who goes and gets a breast augmentation. Generally speaking, not always, but generally speaking, she wants to look natural still, even if she had like A cups before and she wants D cups. You know, a proper surgeon is going to make them look natural. That surgeon is not going to make that person look unnatural. Now, someone may ask for something that's more or excessive, and you know, it's up to the doctor to say like, hey, listen, you know, this is my kind of professional opinion here. I think that we should go a little bit on the more natural side. And I think that's where we need to find ourselves, right? We need to find ourselves understanding that we could have more, but more is not always better. So, you know, the beautiful thing about hair systems though is these things aren't permanent. They're really around for a short period of time, and then we can, you know, dispose of them, trade them in for something new. We can try new styles. So, you know, it's okay if you, like me on your journey, go a little bit on the side of hair greed and kind of go overboard. You can come back, but I just want to encourage all of you out there on your journey that, you know, if you still haven't found the right look, or, you know, if you think you might be getting a little bit greedy with your desire for hair, take a step back. Take a step back and realize that sometimes natural is a little bit better looking. And for everyone in the comments section that has been telling me, yes, I need a lower density unit, which, you know, now we have, there you go. There's your thank you for saying those things and for commenting and critiquing. I think that you were right the whole time. I think that this is probably one of the better looks that I've had over the past while now. But anyways, guys, this video is a little bit shorter than usual, but it's still important. It's still pertinent. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell below. And once again, thank you to LaVivid Hair for sponsoring this video.